as we've all been watching, kind of walk me through what it's like to have been on the floor for the last 2 days.
Well, it's been a bit discouraging. As everybody can see, the Democrats are united. We're standing together behind a man who we believe is the right person to lead this House through the next 2 years. And as we watch the chaos, confusion, and disarray on the Republican side of the aisle, it's very discouraging. Not only discouraging because we can't get sworn in, we can't get our business done, we can't do the work we need to do on behalf of the American people, but there are things at risk that people need to be aware of. The whole world is watching this, and I believe this is an issue of national security. We need to have a functioning Congress, and the other side's antics are preventing us from having a functioning Congress. So it's an issue of national security. We are still in a public health emergency, and the economic well-being of the country is something we need to take into consideration. And we are willing to work with the other side when we can find common ground, but we're willing to fight them when required for the American people. We are serious people who came here to get our jobs done, and the other side seems to have no plan. We've taken 11 votes, and things are actually getting worse for Kevin McCarthy. There doesn't seem to be any end in sight. There doesn't seem to be any plan. He doesn't seem to be considering an alternative. And we want to get our work done. We want to get sworn in and move things forward.
So something a lot of people might not understand is, they think, well, it's just like it's a leadership position, but the business of Congress cannot happen without a speaker, right? So this has to happen for Congress to do their jobs.
Under the existing statute, we cannot be sworn in until a speaker is elected. That means that all of us, every one of us, from those who've been here for decades to those who are brand new to Congress, we are all representative elects right now. We cannot we can't make committee assignments. The new members finally got access to computers, but they're having trouble getting all of their offices set up. And we need to be able to do the business of Congress. We were supposed to have a confidential briefing this week on one of our foreign adversaries. We can't even have a confidential briefing right now because the Congress members have not been sworn in yet.
What's it been like to watch? I don't know what adjective or adverb you want to use. Chaos on the other side of the aisle, trying to pick a speaker.
Well, there are two sides that are dug in. The people who are supporting Kevin McCarthy are dug in. It doesn't appear that they're looking for any other alternatives. And it started off at 19 people who were against McCarthy. It has now grown to 20. And they've nominated a variety of different people. Some of the nominations have been pretty bizarre. The good thing is that the Democrats remain united. We are actually getting some preliminary work done on the House floor as we're talking to different members about. Yesterday, I agreed to sign on to several bills that I had signed on to last term. I had a nice conversation with the lead sponsor of two of the bills, one of them having to do with Medicaid expansion, because these healthcare issues are critical to the people of the 6th District. And even though we can't actually introduce this new bill, we had discussions. I want to make sure that I'm a co-sponsor of that important bill. So we're having preliminary conversations on the House floor, and we're having conversations about committees. It's a good opportunity for us to get to know the new members. I've had a chance to talk to several really terrific new members who are going to be joining us. I get to give them advice about what it's like to be a new member of Congress now that I'm moving into my what we laughingly refer to as our sophomore term. So we're trying to make the time as productive as possible. but we really need to get about the business that the American people need us to do.
I'm sure you have, well, friends or colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Obviously, I'm sure you've had conversations with them over the last 48 hours. What are Republicans you're talking to say, whether they support McCarthy or not? What are they saying to you?
Well, I've had conversations with at least 4 or 5 of the Republicans who I consider friends on the other side of the aisle. Not one of them has been able to tell us what they expect to happen, what the plan is, what will take place that will actually get them to form a cohesive caucus, or they call it a conference. And some of the people I've talked to are in leadership, and they have no idea what is going to happen.
Also today, it's been 2 years since the attack on the Capitol. I know you took part in a ceremony this morning on the steps, a moment of silence. So I guess that was right as the time you were starting out in Congress. So kind of what was that like to be there this morning?
So as I was getting dressed this morning, I decided that I would wear the same outfit that I wore the day of the insurrection, including the low-heeled boots that I luckily wore that day, because that's what allowed me to run down all the steps I had to run down to get to safety. As you may know, I was among those who were caught in the House gallery when the Capitol was breached, and the Capitol Police came in and told us to take out our gas masks and prepare to take cover. And that group has maintained some cohesive feeling, because we all went through a pretty frightening 45 minutes to an hour when we were the last ones left in the House chamber with, I think, 3 Capitol Police. So we have actually put together a lunch for the Capitol Police that's being set up right now to honor them, because we know that without the real bravery of the Capitol Police, we wouldn't have made it through. And as we were all standing on the House steps together this morning, first of all, I looked around, and just, today it's a calm, peaceful setting. And I couldn't help to think back to the film clips I've seen of what that plaza looked like when we were huddled inside the gallery taking cover, the pandemonium that was going on outside by the insurrectionists. The other thing that was very sobering in the ceremony we had this morning was that each of the families who lost a Capitol Police officer because of the insurrectionists, came up and spoke that family member's name. And there was one woman that came up with 2 young children, and the kids joined her in saying their father's name. And it made it very real. We were lucky. We made it through unscathed, but people lost their lives. And we also had a 1 minute, 40-second moment of silence to honor the 140 Capitol Police officers who were gravely injured. So there were 5 deaths and 140 who suffered very severe injuries. So it's important for us to think back on what happened, on how we made it through, and express our gratitude to those who brought us through safely, and to remind ourselves that our nation survived, our democracy survived. But what we're going through on the House floor today is yet another challenge to our democracy.
And my last question, I know you got to run, but I know it's hard to predict things, but I'll ask you to. Do you think we're going to see a speaker by the end of business today?
We've been asking around, and what the most recent rumor I heard is that McCarthy believes that there has been some progress made, but he doesn't have enough votes yet to become speaker. So this will probably go on. And the Democrats we're willing to stay here and through the night, through the weekend, because we believe it's critically important to get a speaker and get the Congress members sworn in. The Republicans want to adjourn. Okay.
Well, thank you, Congresswoman. I really appreciate the time, and I guess get back to the business of the people.
Back to the business of the people. Always nice to see you, Justin.
Yes, ma'am. Look forward to the next time talking.
Thanks so much.
You have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Haley.